at 9:23 on the night of July the 9th, the day you were nominated to the Supreme Court by President Trump, Senator Schumer said, 23 minutes after your nomination, I will oppose Judge Kavanaugh's nomination with everything I have. I have a bipartisan, and I hope a bipartisan majority will do the same. The stakes are simply too high for anything less. Well, if you weren't aware of it, you are now. Did you meet with Senator Dianne Feinstein on August 20th?
I did meet with Senator Feinstein.
Did you know that her staff had already recommended a lawyer to Dr. Ford?
I did not know that.
Did you know that her and her staff had this allegations for over 20 days?
Lindsey Graham, John McCain tell me to do this to you.
If you want an FBI investigation, you better come to us. What you want to do is destroy this guy's life, hold this seat open, and hope you win in 2020. You said that, not me.
This guy right here, sir.
To apologize for it. When you see Sotomayor and Kagan tell them
It's
that all,
slapping you right now upside your head, fool.
never do to them what
Go
you
ahead, fool.
This is the most unethical sham since I've been in politics. And if you really wanted to know the truth, you sure as hell
Your support of Donald Trump is a sham.
are you
Get the fuck out of here.
rapist?
No.
I cannot imagine what you and your family have gone through. Boy, y'all want power. God, I hope
That's like asking Trump, are you a racist?
people can see through this sham. Did you know
And
about it and you held
he lies and said no.
no intention of protecting Dr. Ford. None. She's as much of a victim as you are. God, I hate to say it because these have been my friends. But let me tell you, when it comes to this, you're looking for a fair process, you came to the wrong town at the wrong time, my friend. Do you consider this a job interview?
Now he's saying those things.
You've been through a job interview.
He's kind of like saying those things right now.
The process of advice and consent under the Constitution was
So
Been through hell.
I've been through.
his newfound buddy of 3 years, Trump, will believe that Lindsey Graham still has his back. You know what I mean? That's the only reason why he just said that last line about this town and these people. You know what I mean? So Trump can tweet about draining the swamp and still having Lindsey Graham in his corner.
You're supposed to be Bill Cosby when
You
you're
heard it here
junior
first.
and senior in high school. And all of a sudden you got over it. It's been my understanding
This white boy just invoked Bill Cosby though.
and raped them for 2
Oh no, he didn't.
You probably don't.
And then after Bill,
Here's my understanding. If you lived a good life,
oh that man's second day in jail, he's getting invoked.
the American Bar Association,
His name is getting invoked
his integrity,
in a sexual assault hearing for Supreme Court nominee for the United States of America.
harbors no biases,
On Bill Cosby's second day in prison of a 3 to 10 year term,
warm, friendly, unassuming. He's
his name is being invoked to compare a 15-year-old Brett Kavanaugh who will be Supreme Court Justice of the United States.
should be proud of this. That you raised a daughter who had the good care of
Hey, I look at it this way, Black America. Tiger Woods is back, right?
colleagues. If you vote no,
Fuck you, Tiger.
you're legitimizing
I can't even watch golf no more. It's even like,
everything I have seen in my time in politics.
that shit is a
Want that
wrap.
seat?
But you know,
You never get it. I hope you're on the Supreme Court. That's
the
exactly
PGA ain't really looking for my viewership in golf, so.
people will see through this charade. And I wish you well. And I intend to vote for you. And I hope everybody who's fair-minded will.
He just pulled a Trump Thurmond move.
Sure you let things settle a little bit after that?
He just pulled a Trump Thurmond move
We'll take a 60
by
second break.
calling out his vote.
Go ahead, good. One of the reasons, Mr. Kavanaugh, that we are
After a heated,
looking at the
bloviated,
yearbook is that it is relatively consistent
racist rant,
with
you know what I mean? I can, okay, not racist, sexist rant.
and because it appears to be your is it in fact your words on your yearbook page?
We submitted things to the editors, and I believe they took them. I don't know if they've changed things or not, but
You're not aware of any changes? As far as you know,
I'm not aware one way or the other, but I'm not going to sit here and contest that.
That is one uncomfortable ass white boy right there.
I'm actually interested. Lawyers should be working off of common terms and understand the words that we're using. I think that's a pretty basic principle among lawyers. Wouldn't you agree?
It is. If you're worried about my yearbook, have at it, Senator.
Let's look at Beach Week Ralph Club biggest contributor. What does the word Ralph mean in that?
That probably refers to throwing up. I'm known to have a weak stomach, and I always have. In fact, the last time I was here, you asked me about having ketchup on spaghetti.
He about to say he got IBS. Watch.
I don't know that I asked about ketchup on spaghetti.
You didn't, someone did, and this is well known. Anyone who's known me, like a lot of these people behind me, known me my whole life, know, I got a weak stomach.
He's a poopy butt.
Or with spicy food or anything.
So the vomiting that you referenced in the Ralph Club reference.
Nah, I'm not going there. I was about to go somewhere, but I'm not going there.
Sarah, I was
I'm gonna leave that one alone,
top of
yeah.
my class academically, busted my butt in school, captain of the varsity basketball team, got into Yale College. When I got into Yale College, got into Yale Law School, worked my tail off.
And did the word Ralph you used in your
I already answered the question. If you're,
Did it relate to alcohol?
I like
You
beer.
haven't answered that.
I like beer. I don't know if you like beer, Senator, or not. What do you like to drink?
Next one is,
Senator, what do you like to
Judge,
drink?
have you, I don't know if it's buffed or boofed, how do you pronounce that?
That refers to flatulence. We were 16.
Okay.
I,
And so when your friend Mark Judge said put the same thing in his yearbook page back to you, he had the same meaning. It was flatulence.
I don't know what he did, but that's my recollection. When we talk about flatulence, age 16 on a yearbook page.
you know what? I take back my position that he's gonna get confirmed. He isn't. And after he loses, this idiot in chief, or jerk off in chief, is gonna use the stance that this guy took, and which might, obviously he would not get nominated, and he's gonna use that to rally his base because he sounded like a member of his base, and I don't think that's in his character. I don't think Brett Kavanaugh is a racist. I don't think he is. You know what I mean? He's a sexual assaultist, sexual assaulter. That much is a fact. You know what I mean? I believe Dr. Ford. That's neither here nor there. You know what I mean? That's a fact. That's a done deal. But I don't think he's a racist. But I think he was advised to use that strategy because of who the president is.
As you can tell from my calendar, she had a party on the 4th of July in the beach in Delaware.
And there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 F's in front of the 4th of July. What does that signify, if anything?
Just a thought. Just a thought.
When he said the
Nah,
F
man.
word, starting at a young
I could be wrong.
that kind of a
Gotta
word
take
that
positions,
the F
right?
word, kind of and then the word would come out.
This is the guy that you want on the Supreme Court making decisions that affect what becomes the law of the land.
I won't repeat it here.
This fucker.
That F word.
Referring to Georgetown versus Louisville and
Do you want any more on the F?
no, Orioles versus Red Sox. In both, you respond, who won anyway, or who won that game anyway? Should we draw any conclusion that a loss of recollection associated with alcohol was involved in you not knowing who won the games that you attended?
No. First of all, the Georgetown Louisville was watching it on TV, a party, and
That's not inconsistent with drinking and not remembering what happened.
I'm aware. And the point of
Thank you, Senator Whitehouse.
Party and didn't pay attention to the game.
Awesome name, by the way.
That's the excuse we have
I,
for getting together.
I know.
That's
Now you've had it your whole life for like
very
maybe
common.
70
You've been to a
years,
Super
60
Bowl party,
years.
for example, Sarah,
So
not paid attention to the game and just hung out with your friends. I don't know if you've done that or not, but that's what we were referring to in those two occasions.
Senator Corner. Judge, I can't think of a more embarrassing scandal for the United States Senate since the McCarthy hearings. When the comment was about the cruelty of the process toward the people involved. And the question was asked, have you no sense of decency? And I'm afraid we've lost that, at least for the time being. Do you understand you've been accused of multiple crimes?
I'm painfully aware for my family and me to read about this.
Miss Elisa Milano,
Breathless report.
thank you so very much for your presence there.
Claims that you denied.
Yes, thank you so very much.
Mr. Ramirez, that not
You
even the New York
made
Times
me
was
putting up with
accused of
watching this
corroborated. And then
much more
Stormy Daniels' lawyer released a bombshell
palatable.
accusing you of.
Thank you, ma'am.
All of those are crimes, are they not?
They are, and I'm never going to get my reputation back. My life is totally and
The world just found out your reputation.
Altered. Well, Judge, don't give up.
I'm not giving up.
The American people are listening to this, and they will make their decision, and I think you'll come out on the right side of that.
Well, I will always be a good person and try to be a good judge, whatever happens. But
This is not a job interview. You've been accused of a crime. If you have lied to the committee and the investigators, that is a crime in and of itself, correct?
that is correct.
So in order to vote against your nomination, we would have to conclude that you are a serial liar. And you have exposed yourself to legal jeopardy in the way in your interaction with this committee and the
That quiet
investigators.
yeah answer he just gave told a lot of truth,
Understanding.
according to
An
Blink.
interview with Martha McCollum the other night about a fair process. Some of my colleagues across the aisle say, well, the burden is not on the accuser because this is a job interview. The burden is on you. But you said you weren't there and it didn't happen. It's impossible for you to prove a negative. So I would just suggest that you have been accused of a crime and that a fair process under the United States Constitution and our notion of fair play.
Someone should ask him
Accusation.
if he was a judge deliberating over a case like this, how would he deliberate?
And there needs to be corroboration. In other words, you're not guilty because somebody makes an accusation against you in this
I mean,
We're not a police.
am I wrong in my line of
We don't
thinking?
give the government that kind of power. We insist that those charges be proven by competent evidence. And I know we're not in a court. I've told my colleagues if we were in court, half of them would be in contempt of court. But you have been accused of a crime. And I believe fundamental notions of fair play and justice in our constitutional system require that if somebody's going to make that accusation against you, then they can.
Doors went out the window, sir, when Trump opened his dumbass mouth and said Mexicans are rapists and murderers and he's gonna build a
You
wall.
have a right to be angry
You know I'm right.
about the delays in your ability to come here and protect your good name. Because in the interim, it just keeps getting worse. It's not Dr. Ford. It's this story that not even the New York Times would report, the allegation of Ms. Ramirez. And then Stormy Daniels' lawyer comes up with this incredible story accusing you of the most sordid and salacious
Trying to tell you,
conduct.
I can't believe this guy's confirmation is even going
And you're
through.
right to be angry. But this is your chance to tell your story, and I hope you have a chance to tell us everything you want to tell us. But the burden is not on you to disprove the allegations made. The burden under our system, when you accuse somebody of criminal conduct, is on the person making the accusation. Now, I understand this isn't a trial, like I said, but I just wanted to make sure that we understood.
He just talks circles around himself.
What happened 36 years ago,
And I appreciate what you said about Dr. Ford, that perhaps she has had an incident at some point in her life, and you are sympathetic to that. But your reputation is on the line. And I hope people understand the gravity of the charges made against you and what
His reputation has been shown. His prior reputation was his out of mask.
We're talking here about decency, and you understand we have this constitutional duty to advise and consent. And for me, when this evidence came forward,
She's awesome,
I
yo.
decided that I needed to look at this, and I needed to find out about it, and I needed to ask you questions about it, as well as others that were involved. So, again, I'm not going to take quite the same approach as my colleagues here, talk about Don McGahn or any of this. Why don't you just ask the president? Dr. Ford can't do this. We clearly haven't been able to do this. But just ask the president to reopen the FBI investigation.
I think the committee is doing, you're doing the investigation. I'm here to answer your questions. And I should say one thing, Senator Klobuchar, which is I appreciate our meeting together, and I appreciate how you handled the prior hearing, and I have a lot of respect for you.
Well, thank you. All of that aside, here's the thing. You could actually just get this open so that we can talk to these witnesses, and the FBI can do it instead of us. And you've come before us, but we have people like Mark Judge, who Dr. Ford says was a witness to this. We have this polygraph expert that my colleagues were raising issues about the polygraph. We would like to have that person come before us. And I just think if we could open this up.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I guess I am. But
You did, though.
Judge has provided sworn statements saying this didn't happen and that I never did or would do.
But we would like the FBI to be able to follow up and ask him questions. You know, we talked about past nomination processes, and you talked about those, and I know that President George Bush, in the Anita Hill Justice Thomas case, he opened up the FBI investigation and let questions being asked, and I think it was helpful for people. So, was his decision reasonable?
I don't know the circumstances of that. What I know, Senators,
The circumstances are that he opened up the investigation so the FBI could ask some questions. That's when he opened up the background check.
I'm here to answer questions about my yearbook or about, what
Okay,
endless sports or,
okay,
something like basketball.
I'm not going to ask about the yearbook. So most people have done some drinking in high school and college, and many people even struggle with alcoholism and binge drinking. My own dad struggled with alcoholism most of his life, and he got in trouble for it, and there were consequences. He is still in AA at age 90, and he's sober, and in his words, he was pursued by grace, and that's how he got through this. So in your case, you have said here and other places that you never drank so much that you didn't remember what happened. But yet, we have heard, not under oath, but we have heard your college roommates say that you did drink frequently. These are in news reports, that you would sometimes be belligerent. Another classmate said it's not credible for you to say you didn't have memory lapses. So drinking is one thing.
I actually don't think that's the second quote's correct. On the first quote, if you wanted, I provided some material that's still redacted about the situation with the freshman year roommate, and I don't really want to repeat that in a public hearing, but just so you know, there were 3 people in a room, Dave White, Jamie Roach, and me, and it was a contentious situation where Jamie did not like Dave White at all, and I mean this.
Okay.
So Dave White came back from home one weekend, and Jamie Roach had moved all his furniture out into the courtyard.
Okay.
And so he walks in, and so that's your source on that. So there's some old.
Drinking is one thing.
And there's much more. You look at the redacted portion of what I said. I don't want to repeat that in a public hearing.
I will. Could I just ask one more question?
Redacted information about that.
Okay, drinking is one thing, but the concern is about truthfulness. And in your written testimony, you said sometimes you had too many drinks. Was there ever a time when you drank so much that you couldn't remember what happened or part of what happened the night before?
Of course he did.
No, I remember what
He ain't
happened.
gonna say yes.
And I think you've probably had beer center, and so.
Always going back to the beer.
Case where you drank so
Always
much
going
that
back
you
to that
didn't
damn
remember
beer.
what happened the night before or part of what happened.
You're asking about, blackout. I don't know, have you?
Hey, if y'all wondering,
Answer the question.
that's like
Just to you,
green,
that's not happening.
white, and
Is that
blue.
your answer?
Yeah, I'm curious.
It's blue. It's not really the kind of blue they really show, but that's
Okay.
the flag colors of Sierra Leone. You know what I mean? Paying homage to my homeland. You know what I mean?
Since this FBI thing keeps coming up all the time.
I just feel like saying that. I keep seeing it. You know what I mean? Like I keep seeing my boy Obama back there. What up, yo? What up, boy?
Could ask for an FBI investigation.
We gonna make sure your legacy is replaced. It's not just America's first black president, but America's fourth greatest president. We're gonna make sure it's replaced, okay? It's gonna be that blue wave for the next 50 years to start.
Now, I suppose it's a month ago, clearly stating this matter is closed as far as the.
Hey yo, E, don't say nothing. I got your back.
There is no federal crime to investigate.
How you liking your boy Trump now?
Democrats hope for the FBI to draw any conclusions on this matter. I'm going to remind you what Joe Biden said. Now, I said this in my statement, but maybe people aren't listening when I say it. Maybe they won't even hear it.
Yo, that's like his 7th bottle of water. I hope I'm not exaggerating. My mind exaggerated that, but I think I could be subconsciously right.
Does not in this or any other case reach a conclusion. Period. They say, he said, she said, they said, period. So when people wave an FBI report before you or even bring it up now as something prospectively, that wasn't in his quote. Understand they do not reach conclusions. They do not make recommendations. Senator Hayes.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Let me do this.
May I say for the record that actually we have asked, you said that nobody's asked the FBI or we could ask the FBI. I actually have, I think others have, and I think that the issue is that part of what an FBI report does is to investigate and seek either corroborating or exculpatory evidence. It's not so much the conclusion that it draws as the breadth of the evidence that is sought out through the investigation and the difference between what somebody might say to an FBI agent when they're being examined and, for instance, Mr. Judge's letter signed by his lawyer sent in. It's just a different thing. And I believe still that this is the first background investigation in the history of...
I'm sure if the FBI can investigate Tom Brady's jersey from the Super Bowl being stolen, they can investigate whether a potential Supreme Court justice groped and silenced a woman 36 years ago.
we had tried to do.
And the only way I remember that 36 because he said 36 not too long ago when he started testifying. You know what I mean? He remember exactly how many years it's been compared to the woman who's been traumatized who didn't remember the exact year, the day. And I was like, now you get where I'm going with it? Yeah, she was the one traumatized to the point where she doesn't remember exact details. He was a victimizer. Victimizers don't forget shit. When you're the one that's inflicting shit, yo, yeah. Why you think Trump now remembered and bragged about grabbing women's pussies? Alright, let's listen to some of my friends over at Fox. Let me see what some of their racist, slanted, anti-democratic, anti-American, under the guise of true Americanism analysis. I see a black person. It's like, now let me stop. Now, what I did though, I see like the third black person not named Kamala Harris or Cory Booker.
Sentiments were typed on that page. It has been an amazing
America is so white.
Do you want to come out better in this process? You have to say that the moment that we watch unfold from Lindsey Graham is one of the most
I'm sorry,
powerful moments we've seen
Trump America.
since
Don't be
in
mad
this
at me,
kind
but
of- in this kind of
I know how
situation.
y'all feel now.
He was obviously
Y'all want to keep it white, huh?
enormously emotional and impassioned about what he was saying, Chris. And he
They
feels
should
like this
deport all
is
y'all
a-
asses back to y'all European roots.
Is because the Republicans
Y'all make America great.
Rachel Mitchell, the sex crimes prosecutor from Arizona,
Since you didn't think it was so great,
clearly step by step
she get your ass deported
and the
back to
Democrats
Europe.
were playing hardball politics.
Scandinavia.
And you heard it from Feinstein to some degree, Leahy, much more, Durbin especially, and finally.
I see another sister in the Afro back there.
Not a battle over facts.
That's the fifth black person I've seen.
Lindsey Graham came in. I don't know whether it had been planned before or not, but he took his time back from Rachel Mitchell, and he said, "You want to play politics? Let's talk about what's going on here." And this is the most disgraceful political hit job I've ever seen, and called out the extraordinary scene. I mean, this is a nomination, this is a confirmation hearing for a Supreme Court nominee, and they are talking about a 17-year-old's yearbook. And what did the cake party mean? And what did Renata Alumnius mean? And he wrote...
Chris Wallace, I gotta shut his dumb ass up for a minute. Kavanaugh been drinking so much water, he had to go pee. I was sitting here wondering why he ain't gonna go pee so much. But yeah. Again, the estate of Sir Bob Marley, the greatest artist to ever walk this earth. Please don't sue my pants off for having his music in the background. That's my boy, you know what I mean? Like, literally, yo, at the weed shop I go to, the people that work there, they will tell you, they got two strains of indica. They got a Bob Marley OG and an Obama OG. I get those all the time. Those are the only two I get. I tell them all the time, yo, they need to get a Nelson Mandela OG. What? Obama OG, Bob Marley OG, and Nelson Mandela OG. Ooh. That's that. Ooh, we make you want to slap your mouth. It's like that, let me stop. But yeah, I'm begging y'all, please don't sue my pants off, you know what I mean? That's all I listen to, you know what I mean? If I'm not listening to jazz, I'm listening to Bob Marley. Now with Damien, I was never a big Ziggy fan like that. Some of his stuff did not make too much sense to me. But while Kavanaugh and them are doing what they're doing back there, let me Chapter 1 of The Natural Superiority of Women by Ashley Montague. Mind you now, this book was originally written in 1952. This is the 57th republication. Chapter 1, The Natural Superiority of Women. Oh no, I can hear it said, not superior, equal, partners, complementary, different but not superior. What an idea! Men will mostly smile, while women, alarmed, will rush to the defense of men, as women always have and always will. I hope that what I shall have to say in this book will make them even more willing to do so, for men need their help more than they know. Certainly, there have been people who have cogently, if not altogether, convincingly argued that women were as good as men. But I do not know or have not read of anyone who has provided the evidence that women are better than or superior to men. How indeed could one successfully argue such a case in the face of all the evidence to the contrary? Is it not a fact that by far the largest number of geniuses, painters, poets, philosophers, scientists, and so on have been men, and that women have made by comparison a very poor showing? Clearly the superiority is with men. Where are the Leonardos, the Michelangelos, the Shakespeares, the Dons, the Galileos, the Bachs, the Mozarts, the Kants, and the Whiteheads of the feminine world? In fields in which women have excelled in poetry and the novel, how many poets and novelists of truly first rank have there been? Haven't well-bred young women been educated for centuries in music? And how many among them have been great composers or instrumentalists? Of composers, none of the first ranks. Of instrumentalists, well, today there are such accomplished artists as Myra Hess and Wanda Landowska. Possibly there is a clue here in answer to the question asked. May it not be that women are just about to emerge from the period of subjection during which they were the menials of the masculine world? Almost everywhere, women are achieving positions which were once considered beyond their capacity. The most exclusive scientific societies have at least opened their doors and admitted women to the highest honor which it is within their power to bestow. I well remember that when I was a youth, less than a quarter of a century ago, it was considered inconceivable that any woman would ever have brains enough to attain great distinction in science. Madam, I had to stop. I just saw the French abbreviation for Madam, MME, period, and I thought it was saying, and I said, when I saw MMEQ, why that's too long, is it? Okay. Madame Curie was regarded as a sort of rare mutation, the exception that proved the rule of masculine superiority. But the contemporary women members of the most distinguished scientific societies are no longer exceptions, nor is Lise Meitner of uranium-238 fame an exception, and Madame Curie is no longer remains the only woman to share in the Nobel Prize award for science. There is Marie Curie's daughter, Irene Curie-Joliot, and there is Gertie Cody, who was awarded the Nobel Prize for Physiology and Medicine in 1947. Nobel Prizes in literature have gone to Selma Lagerlöf, Gracia Deledda, Sigrid Undset, Pearl Buck, and Gabriela Mistral. As an artist, Mary Cassatt was every bit as good as her great French friends Degas and Manet considered her to be, but it has taken the rest of the world another 50 years grudgingly to admit it. Among contemporary artists, Georgia O'Keeffe can hold her own with the best. However, it is not going to be any part of this book to show that women are about to emerge as superior scientists, musicians, painters, or the like. I believe that in these fields they may emerge with abilities equal to those of men, but possibly not in as great numbers, largely because the motivations and aspirations of most women will continue to be directed elsewhere. What must be pointed out is that women are just beginning to emerge from their long and unjustified period of subjection. If there is any man who, without blushing, can contemplate the history of his sexist conduct towards women, let it be Charity. Let it in Charity be set down to the fact that he does not consider himself responsible for the errors of his predecessor. Let me now read that again. I kind of F that up. Yo, a potential Supreme Court nominee just almost said the F word about 5 or 6 times during his confirmation hearing on sexual assault allegations. Those phrases together with Supreme Court Justice nominees should never be put together, but hey, this is America. It happened, 20 some years ago? 26, 27 years ago? 27 years ago? So, yeah. But yeah, back to what Ashley Montague was saying though in the natural superiority of women. If there is any man who without blushing can contemplate the history of his sexist conduct towards women, let it in charity be set down to the fact that he does not consider himself responsible for the errors of his predecessors. Thus absolved from all responsibility for the past, it may be hoped that he will henceforth conduct himself with more intelligence and a greater sense of responsibility. The women of the 19th century were treated in a manner not unlike that which is still the bitter experience of the Negro in many parts of the world. The women of the 19th century. So the 19th century is between 1801, 1800 to 1801 to 1899. That's the 19th century. So women from that, like, y'all remember when I was reading from Kendrick, that the Kendrick, the look at me saying Kendrick, the Kanye West dedicated Kendrick, how Dana got transported to 1815 antebellum Maryland. Yeah, so women in that time, you know what I mean? The women of the 19th century were treated in a manner not unlike that which is still the bitter experience of the Negro in many parts of the world. Traits that are mythically attributed to the Negro at the present time were for many generations shadowed upon women, the second-class citizens of a patriarchal society. Can you imagine what it means to be a black woman in America then? If you're a black man in America and you look at your sisters and your mothers and your nieces and your grandmothers and you call another black woman a B or a hoe, like, with everything that's they be saddled with as women. Now when this man is talking about traits mythically attributed to the Negroes which were saddled upon women for generations, I'm telling you right now, from my general understanding of reading books like this, he's speaking predominantly of normal white women. You know what I mean? Like, even within the feminist movement, a lot of African American female activists have always put forth, which was very true, that the feminist movement, the women's rights movement, has always left the black woman behind because, yeah, so. Ooh, Kavanaugh might be coming back.
These Democrats, we've got Martin Amazing Ryan, we've got Kamala Harris, those are people in the past who've been pretty aggressive about the movie today.
He ain't back all the way, but let me go back to what this was saying. The women of the 19th century were treated in a manner not unlike that which is still the bitter experience of the Negro in many parts of the world. Traits that are mythically attributed to the Negro at the present time were for many generations saddled upon women, the second-class citizens of a patriarchal society. Women, it was alleged, had smaller brains than men and less intelligence. They were more emotional and unstable. In a crisis, you could always rely upon them to swoon or become otherwise helpless. They were weak and sickly creatures. They had little judgment and less sense. They could not be entrusted with the handling of money. And as for the world outside, there they could be employed only at the most menial and routine of tasks. The greatest exposure of this series of myths are made during World War I, when for the first time women were called upon to replace men in occupations which were formerly the exclusive preserve of men. They became bus drivers, conductors, factory workers, farm workers, laborers, supervisors, executive officers, and a great many other things at which many had believed they could not work. At first it was said they didn't do well, they didn't do so well as men. Then it was grudgingly admitted that they weren't so bad. And by the time the war was over, many employers were reluctant to exchange their women employees for men. But the truth was out. Women could do as well as men in most of the fields which had been considered forever close to them because of their alleged natural incapacities. And in many fields, particularly where delicate precision work was involved, they had proved themselves superior to men. For women, the period from 1918 to 1939 was essentially one of consolidation of gains, so that by the time World War II broke out, there were no hesitation on the part of anyone in calling women to serve in the civilian roles of men and in many cases in the armed services. So 1918, 100 years ago. If you're a woman in America right now, black, brown, pink, orange, what? Okay, let me be specific. If you're a woman who did not vote for Trump, I don't care how you view him. If you're a woman who did not vote for Trump, if you're a woman who voted for Trump, still listen, still try to change your heart, but I'm not holding my breath for you to change your heart. You know what I mean? Like, that's neither here nor there though. What up, Huckabee? Sanders? I gotta be specific. But 100 years ago, so from now to 2039, vote every year, especially if you're a woman of color. Vote every year. It's only a 20-year period. 20 years ain't no time, yeah. 20 years ain't no goddamn time at all. Yo, this is my song right here, yo. Bob Marley killed this. Alright, hey yo, I gotta stop real quick. This is awesome, right? So the Washington Post just sent a little news blast real quick. They just sent a little news blast real quick. Let me see what kind of. Oh nah, this thing long as hell. They just ran through everything that I've just watched. Nah. Oh, we ain't reading all that wapo. It's all good. Not right now. This is my song right here, yo. Bob Marley killed it with this.
And she said, no, absolutely not, without missing
Fire fussing me face.
for him, and she is
Can't get me out of the race.
each other and say, this is worthless.
In your place.
In unison, absolutely.
And then you draw back,
I
God.
feel very strong that these are
Your backyard, open your backyard. Hold on, real quick, Bob. Hold on, real quick, Bob.
I'm sorry I did that. This is a tough process. I'm sorry about that.
I appreciate that. I would like to add, when you have a parent that's an alcoholic, you're pretty careful about drinking. And the second thing is, I was truly just trying to get to
He's
the bottom
apologizing for being
of the
white.
facts and the evidence, and I, again, believe we
Whenever
need
white boys do that, you know shit don't hit the fan.
check instead of investigation. Thank you.
Appreciate
I know I'm white.
Well, thank you, Judge. Welcome. We're happy to have you here. My friend from, I'd just like to say a few
Imagine how many more judges across America
words for us today.
with 15, 17-year-old shitheads like this guy, and they've been the ones making decisions.
They deserve, each of you deserves to be treated fairly and respectfully. We tried to do that with Dr. Ford earlier, and I think we succeeded. It's important that we treat Judge Kavanaugh fairly now. And it remains to be seen how that's going to work out. Judge Kavanaugh has been a federal judge for 12 years. And he's been a great federal judge on the second highest court in the nation. He's earned a reputation for fairness and decency.
Yo, my God, Lisa just threw the glasses on.
His students, he teaches
What up, Elisa?
law school as well. His students love him.
I'm just saying, go. I grew up on Charmed, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie. It was on the same network as Buffy, Angel, you know what I mean? In the House, Wayans Brothers, Fresh Prince, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man, you know what I mean? I know who you are, so. Hi.
Sexual assault, he should not serve on the Supreme Court. I think we'd all agree with that. But the circus atmosphere that has been created since my Democratic colleagues first leaked Dr. Ford's allegations to the media 2 weeks ago, after sitting on them for 6 weeks, I might add, has brought us the worst in our politics. It certainly has brought us no closer to the truth. Anonymous letters with no name and no return address are now being treated as national news.
So when the Republican James Comey waited about 5 days before the election to talk about Hillary Clinton in a negative, connotative light. Come on, Orion. Keep it real to your whiteness.
And in the middle of it all, we have Judge Kavanaugh, a man who until 2 weeks ago was a pillar of the legal community. There's been no whisper of misconduct by him in the time he's been a judge. What we have are uncorroborated, unsubstantiated...
Again, because he wasn't nowhere close to the highest court in the land.
Every alleged eyewitness has either denied...
And you're right. I get it, but still, this is for all the marbles now. He gonna make decisions that affects people that ain't born yet. Come on. Come on, Owen. You know better than that.
deserves fair treatment.
Hatch your brain.
He was an immature high schooler. Simply troubled. That he wrote or said stupid things sometimes does not make him a sexual predator.
Sorry.
I understand the desire of my colleagues to tear down this man at
I
any
can't
cost.
breathe. Black Lives Matter. I'm sorry.
But let's at least be fair and look at the facts or the absence thereof.
So I'm giving Trump some ammunition. I want him to talk about my hand so he can call me Little Alpha.
That Judge Kavanaugh drank in high school or college does not make him guilty of every terrible thing that he's recently been accused of. A lifetime of respect and equal treatment ought to mean...
I'm about to hit you with this little inside joke I got with some classmates from Sanford Brown.
inconsistent with the course of
Little alpha muscle.
adult life.
Yeah, fuck with that alpha muscle, Trump. You don't know about that alpha muscle? Fuck out of here.
Be short in your answers, but it helped me get through.
What up, Miss Davis's class? Hey, Miss Davis. Hot Nana. What's up, girl? How y'all been?
It was a week ago Sunday morning.
Yeah. You're like, yo, look at this nigga Alpha dude, the dumbest dude talking about he trying to change people's heart, trying to get them to read and vote. Alpha little dumbass. What's up, Miss Davis?
Did the ranking member raise him at the close
What's up, Timothy?
of the public hearing?
What up, Charles?
She was not there.
Did the ranking member
Chucky T. What up, man? What up, Donnell?
raise him
What's
in
good, my nigga?
1,300 written questions that were submitted to you following the hearing?
That was my boy, though. We never really got along, bro. We got along on some level. You know what I mean? Always want to smoke, ain't had no tree, though. I know Charles dying right now laughing at that.
In the last...
I'm sorry, yeah. I'm going down memory lane, you know what I mean?
Member or any of her colleagues or any of their
I told y'all, man, 20 years in America.
Ramirez allegations before they were leaked to the press?
Hey, y'all know how,
First time that the ranking
y'all know how,
or any of her colleagues or any of their staff
if you've actually walked and paid taxes,
Ramirez's allegations.
I'm not trying to hear a racist question, a rapist. Yeah. You know how if you've paid taxes in this country, if your name is not Donald Trump and you actually pay taxes while working in this country, you know how at Social Security Administration's website, ssa.gov, you can have your Social Security account, you know what I mean? I have one, you know what I mean? Just to prove that I have been a legal permanent resident. I'm not illegal or nothing, but even though I know this dumbass in chief, this jerk off in chief is gonna try to do anything and everything to try to get me deported, I ain't mad at it. I'm not calling Kaepernick. I know the consequences of what I'm doing. I'm just hoping that my message get through to anybody who's black and brown in America, and you decide to refuse to be enemies and just read 30 minutes a fucking day for 365 days a year for the next 15 years and vote every year in your community. Voting is free, yo. That shit is free. Dr. King's death led to black folks getting the right to vote. Even that's been suppressed over the years. It's been trying to get suppressed. So, like, the vote has been getting suppressed, and we ain't trying to really take advantage of it to start with. It's been suppressed, and a lot of us don't even give a fuck about it. And if you're thinking right now you got a record in the ex-con in your state say you can't vote because you got a record, I get it. But those are laws put in place by men that can be changed with enough representation with the right people in to change those laws. Does that make sense? I'm just an African who came to America at age 13. Now I'm 33. Yeah. But I digress. They sent me a little thing, a little copy to like, I'm gonna get into this later, but you know how you can get on the website, you have your profile and all that. I'm gonna go through every year how much taxable income that was taxed since I started working in 2002 at KFC in Greenbelt, across from Beltway Plaza Mall. I'm just saying. What up, Vince? What up, Ray? What up, Yvonne? Who else? Who else? Who else? That's all I remember. It was probably a bunch of other people.
Brett
You know what I mean?
Kavanaugh
But yeah.
drank more than a lot of people.
We're
He
gonna get to that later.
stumbling. It's not credible for him to say he's had no memory lapses in the nights he drank to excess. I know because I drank with him. How should we assess that?
She then goes on, if you kept reading, says
That man name is Mr. Coons.
specific instance like that.
Bald-headed white man named Mr. Coons. I'm sorry.
Quote that
That's
jumped out at me was Brett was a sloppy drunk.
it's in the
and I drank
context
with him.
of racial words. That's just funny as hell, dude. I'm sorry. I don't care if you think it's not funny. It's funny. It's in my Africanized mind. His name is Mr. Coons, a bald-headed white boy with the bald head before he got here.
College than just about anyone. And I'd refer you to what he said.
In other reporting, as I'm sure you know, a college classmate described you as relatively shy, but said that when you drank, you could be aggressive or even belligerent. And your roommate, as I think you
You're lying like shit.
said you were.
Anyone who likes to drink beer and say they don't get belligerent when they drink beer, shake their head like that, they lying. He lying like shit.
And you should look at what I said in the redacted portion of the transcript about him.
That's how you know if a white boy lying. His chin area get extra red. Right here get red and portions of the cheek get red, but all this stays super white.
But suppose you'd gone through a process.
It's like almost a natural KKK hood.
Position. You had a lot of qualified candidates, and as you're finishing the hiring process, you learn of a credible allegation that, if true, would be disqualifying. Wouldn't you either take a step back and conduct a thorough investigation, or move to a different candidate? And why not agree to a 1-week pause to allow the FBI to investigate all these allegations and allow you an opportunity a week from now to have the folks present in front of us for us to assess their credibility and for us to either clear your name or
That's a
resolve
good
these
question.
allegations by moving to a different nominee?
That's a good
All
question.
4 witnesses who were alleged to be at the event said it didn't happen, including Dr. Ford's longtime friend, Ms. Kaiser, who said that she didn't know me and that she does
You're
not
still not
remember
answering
being at a
the
party with me,
questions.
with or without Dr. Ford.
What I've struggled with, Judge Kavanaugh, is the absence of a fair, federal law enforcement-driven, nonpartisan process to question the various people who I think are critical to this. My concern, should you move forward, is what it will do to the credibility of the court and how that may well hang over your service. I understand you are concerned about this.
Senator, my
I wish
reputation
you would
has
join
been-
us in calling for an FBI investigation for 1 week. Would you clear or confirm some of these allegations?
When you say a week delay, you know how long the last 10 days have been for us?
Probably an eternity. But in the Judge Thomas
For us,
confirmation,
every day,
it's a 4-day delay.
every day, it's been a lifetime. And you know, yeah, and it's been investigated, and all 4 witnesses say it didn't happen. and they've said it under penalty of felony. And I've produced my calendars, which show.
Hey, Fox News just did something when they came back from the break. They changed their broadcast view when they saw Kavanaugh. They had like an upwards band, like almost like a kind of like, let me see if I can try to emulate like this. They had like an almost kind of thing like this. Then you know what I mean earlier. Then all of a sudden they have it like straight ahead, kind of. Yeah, they have it like kind of straight ahead now. They kind of got Salisa's face right there by Kavanaugh's shoulder instead of having her face upwards earlier. It's like shaking somebody's hand. If you walk up to somebody that's sitting down, you shaking their hand, you immediately have the natural position of dominance. You know what I mean? If they get up, they shake your hand, or y'all on equal footing. You know what I mean? It's like kind of like that. They're trying to make him look normal, make him.
Everybody else has been putting letters in the.
It's all about perception. Like, if you think I'm crazy about that breakdown right now, believe it or not, experts will agree with me and tell you that these people spend a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of spending on talents that sees things in those frames that can make changes like that during production to get to send the right message in the right package view to their viewers. You know what I mean? They know people are tuned into this. These people are tuned into this, believe it or not. Yes. If you black in America, you're not tuned in, I'm talking to you. Pick up a book and read. And go vote. You got like 40 days or some shit to like register to vote. Like maybe a little less. Yeah, about 39 days now. 6, 31 plus 6, 37, so this is 27. Yeah, about 39 days after today.
It's also correct that you yourself do not control the FBI or when it conducts an investigation. You are a nominee. You're not tasked with the job of deciding who, when, whether, or how conducts an investigation.
That's correct.
But at every moment when either we or prior to the committee taking jurisdiction over at the FBI has asked you questions, you've been attentive and you've been responsive. Isn't that right?
That's correct. Throughout my career.
I have colleagues today who have repeatedly asked for an FBI investigation. And there are some ironies in this. Ironies that ascend at least 2 levels. In the first place, at least one of my colleagues, at least one of them, had access to this information many, many weeks before anyone else did. Had the ability, and I believe the moral duty and obligation, to report those facts to the FBI, at which point they could have and would have been investigated by the FBI. And that could have been handled in such a way that didn't turn this into a circus, one that has turned your life upside down and that of your family, and the life of Dr. Ford and her family upside down. I consider this most unfortunate, given that this was entirely within the control of at least one of my Democratic colleagues to do this. The second level of irony here is that while calling repeatedly for an investigation by the FBI, an investigation over which you have no ability to control, by the way, an investigation you have no authority to call for, while calling for an investigation, we're in the middle of a conversation that involves questions to you. So I ask my Democratic colleagues, if you have questions for Judge Kavanaugh, ask him. He's right here. If that's really what you want is the truth, ask him questions right now. If you have questions of other witnesses, then for the love of all that is sacred and holy, participate in the committee investigations that have been going on.
My man went godlike though. He said, for the love of all that is sacred and holy.
If someone really were interested in the truth,
you know, Republicans serious when they invoking for the love of everything that is sacred and holy.
A committee investigation, a committee hearing with live witnesses. They would talk about that rather than something else they wish they were having in front of them. If what they want is a search for the truth, then now is their choice. If, on the other hand, what they want to do is delay this until after the election, which at least one of my colleagues on the Democratic side has acknowledged, then that might be what they would do. Finally, I want to point out that there is significant precedent.
He just provided a potential cop-out for extending this whole confirmation proceedings. rather than having him dropped and having Merrick Garland, for example.
And their role in this process.
In the spirit of bipartisanism, you know, Trump, you said you wanted to come fix things. In the spirit of bipartisanism,
Anything. The FBI explicitly does not, in this or any other case, reach a conclusion. Period. Period. Those are his dual periods, not mine. I continue to quote. The reason why we cannot rely on the FBI report, you would not like it if we did, because it is inconclusive. So when people wave an FBI report before you, understand they do not. They do not. They do not reach conclusions. They do not make, as my friend points out more accurately, they do not make recommendations. In other